growl. The dog started to growl at the man walking by. Knit. My grandmother knitted me a sweater. Forgive. Sandra forgave Peter after he said he was sorry. Drop. A small amount of water dropped from the bottle. Cancel. She canceled the rest of her plans because of the rain. Dine. The young couple dined at their home. Feed. Mother feeds my baby brother every day. Reply. She asked him what time his meeting was. He replied, at 3. Rest. I rested on the couch after work. Subtract. We learned how to subtract numbers from each other in class. Approve. Her coworkers approved her new plan. Avoid. Avoid the broken bottle on the floor. Communicate. I communicated with Paul about his new ideas. Create. She created an igloo from blocks of snow. Depend. Children depend on their parents for many things. Lift. The man tried to lift the box. Require. We require teachers to have a university degree. Respond. When the teacher asked the question, we all responded. Advise. My mother often advises people about their money. Compare. If you compare cats and dogs, you'll see that they're both good pets. Continue. She stood under her umbrella as the rain continued to fall. Demand. The workers demanded to be paid more money. Entertain. The clown entertained the kids at the party. Exclaim. Look at her dress, Sarah exclaimed. Mention. The doctors mentioned the problems that the patient was having. Offer. He offered me the keys to his car. Prove. My teacher proved the answer on the board. Refuse. The dog refused to play with the cat. Agree. A. The food is very good in that restaurant. B. I agree with you. Behave. She always behaves well when her father is around. Pronounce. Young children often have trouble pronouncing words right. Punish. To punish me, my teacher had me stand in the corner. Rehearse. Vic's band rehearsed all week before their first show. Remain. My sister had to remain home since she was sick. Vote. I voted for Billy to be our class president. Wail. The baby wailed because it was hungry. Wake. He is always full of energy when he wakes in the morning. Analyze. The scientist will analyze the blood sample. Damage. The car was damaged in the accident. Explore. He wants to explore the world and see new things. Prefer. I prefer to take the path that will lead me to a bright future. Exist. Do you really think that unicorns ever existed? Satisfy. It will satisfy my teacher if I finish all my homework. Theorize. They enjoyed theorizing about how things worked. Advertise. They used a rabbit to help them advertise their product. Disappoint. I do not want to disappoint my family, so I try to do well at school. Pound. He pounded the nail with the hammer. Relax. The frog relaxed in the warm sun. Drown. He would have drowned if the sailors would not have rescued him. Flow. The water flowed over the rocks and into the lake. Nourish. A good mother will nourish her baby every day. Sew. I learned to sew when I was a little girl. Snore. It was impossible to get to sleep because my husband snored. Swim. I love to swim in the ocean. Yell. The coach yelled at his team for their poor performance. Blame. My mom blamed me for something I didn't do. Celebrate. We all celebrated when we heard the great news. Hack. My uncle used the axe to hack the tree into many logs. Rescue. The firefighter rescued the man from the burning building. Scare. My uncle was scared by what he saw in the room. Scold. Jessie was scolded by the teacher for not paying attention. Steal. The men tried to steal money from the bank. Suppose. I suppose I should go home now. Accept. I accepted the girl's very nice gift. Destroy. The glass was destroyed. Accelerate. When he stepped on the gas pedal, the motorcycle accelerated. Allege. The little girl had alleged that her older brother hid her favorite doll. Char. While Frank went inside to get the mustard, he accidentally charred the hot dogs. Commence. His speech commenced with a thank you to all who helped him succeed. Compress. I compressed my clothes to fit into a single suitcase. Fail. Since he failed to get the job, he was sad. Heighten. The pleasant music heightened their enjoyment of the wonderful dinner. Leave. He packed his bag and was ready to leave for home. Load. The man loaded the boxes into a truck. Pollute. The careless factory polluted the river with chemicals. Recruit. We successfully recruited someone to be the new manager. Select. I hope that I selected the right answers on the test. Sob. I sobbed when my youngest daughter got married. Suck. The baby sucked milk from her bottle. Weigh. The little dog weighed exactly 3 kgs. Administer. The teacher's assistant will administer the test. Attempt. I am attempting to learn English. Bless. The angel blessed the newborn baby to keep it safe. Descend. I descended the stairs to get out of the building. Diminish. As the economy got worse, my savings diminished. Eliminate. Wearing a seatbelt eliminates some of the dangers of driving a car. Follow. The little boy followed his mother home. Govern. The United States is governed from the White House. Reinforce. Peter reinforced his opinion with information from a book. Soothe. The mother soothed her crying baby by rocking him in her arms. Tickle. The mother tickled the little boy's foot and he screamed with laughter. Accumulate. The mail accumulated in their mailbox while they were on vacation. Allow. Having a ticket will allow you to enter the show. Applaud. Everyone cheered and applauded Manny's efforts. Blow. The wind is blowing very hard today. We should stay inside. Clap. After the speech, everyone in the crowd clapped their hands for the speaker. Deny. The boy denied that he broke the window. Deplete. All the driving he was doing was depleting his car's fuel supply. Limp. After the injury, the player limped off of the field. Outnumber. The girls outnumbered the boys at the school by 4-1. Penalize. The team was penalized when they broke the rules. Persuade. The children persuaded their parents to buy them gifts. Remark. The teacher remarked on how quickly the students were learning. Shut. Please shut the door. The air outside is cold. Suffer. Her headache made her suffer all day. Tempt. I wasn't hungry, but she tempted me with a piece of my favorite cake. View. Michael likes to view himself in the mirror. Achieve. I was happy that I could achieve my goal. Claim. He claimed to know why the country's laws were weak. Dissolve. I dissolved the pill in a glass of water. Kid. I am not really mad. I was kidding when I said I was angry. Pave. The path was paved with yellow bricks. Preserve. Dad sprayed a chemical on the house to help preserve its looks. Receive. I received a present on my birthday. Recognize. I recognized an old friend from many years ago. Resent. She resented the fact that she had never been able to play an instrument. Surf. The students went to the beach to surf during their vacation. Distinguish. The twins look exactly the same. It is hard to distinguish between them. Exercise. You should exercise every day. Highlight. I read my vocabulary list and highlighted the most difficult words. Indicate. He pointed to his eyes to indicate where he had hurt himself. Involve. The whole family was involved in playing the game. Regard. The boy regarded the girl as a good friend. Smell. The two friends smelled the flower. Stumble. He stumbled as he ran through the puddle. Populate. Billions of people populate the earth. Spoil. We left the fruit out too long and it spoiled. Approach. The boy approached his school. Collect. I collected shells when I was younger. Discover. I discovered some new information in this book. Evaluate. Joe and Ken evaluated the plan and agreed that it would work. Howl. The wolf howled at the moon. Inspect. The mechanic inspected our car to see if it had any problems. Introduce. I introduced myself to our newest coworker today. Lay. Don't lay your socks on the floor. Offset. Increased wages are offset by higher prices for goods. Prosper. Frank's new business finally prospered after many years of hard work. Refrigerate. Grocery stores refrigerate fruit to make it last long. Sweat. Whenever I work out, I sweat quite a bit. Throw. The pitcher can throw the baseball very fast. Worsen. The weather suddenly worsened and we had to stay inside. Attend. My sister and I attend the same school. Authorize. The mayor authorized the construction of a new statue in the park. Bury. They buried their grandfather under his favorite tree after he died. Collide. The two cars collided with each other because their drivers were not careful. Plead. He pleaded for his parents to let him go to the soccer game. Resemble. The baby resembles his father a great deal. Sow. He always sows his garden seeds in the springtime. Stimulate. Doctors sometimes use electric shock to stimulate a patient's heartbeat. Borrow. Can I borrow a pencil to use today? I'll give it back to you tomorrow. Bounce. Owen bounced the ball on the ground. Capture. James tried to capture the bubbles in his hands. Consider. Pete didn't like his job. He considered getting a new one. Narrate. The story was written by John, but Aaron is narrating it to the crowd. Perish. Many people perish in wars. Praise. The coach praised both athletes after a good practice. Reach. I was happy to finally reach my destination. Replenish. We planted nearly 100 seeds to replenish the garden after the fire. Sigh. Molly sighed when she looked at all the information she had to research. Spit. He emerged from the pool and spit water from his mouth. Step. Be careful where you step. Arrest. The man was arrested for breaking the law. Compete. He will compete with very good athletes. Confirm. Winning the game confirmed that James was a good player. Inherit. She inherited her mother's gold earrings. Lend. My sister lost her pen, so I will lend her mine. Slip. The man slipped on the wet floor. Sneak. The thief snuck out of the house without anyone noticing him. Sneeze. He sneezed after smelling the flower. Survive. My dog survived her fall into the water. Whisper. We have to whisper in the library so people can focus on reading. Yawn. The child yawned and stretched her arms before bed for the night. Astonish. The amount of people that came to her party astonished her. Starve. During the war, many people starved. Accuse. She accused her brother of breaking her computer. Appreciate. I can appreciate the lovely scenery. Confess. He confessed that he was responsible for choosing the winning story. Contain. The mailbox contained the letter. Distract. The phone call distracted him so much that he forgot all about his homework. Dominate. The loud man dominated the conversation. Equate. She equated the man's messy appearance with a lack of responsibility. Notice. Did you notice the view? Proceed. The hurricane was preceded by a moment of still wind and clear sky. Return. I was happy to return home to my mom after school. Sprint. The kids didn't want to be late to class, so they sprinted to the bus stop. Sweep. There is a lot of dirt on the floor. Can you sweep it, please? Command. The general commanded his army to attack. Demonstrate. She demonstrated her plan to her coworkers. Deteriorate. The nation's economy continued to deteriorate despite the politicians' efforts. Flee. The crowd of men tried to flee from the danger. Hang. I drew a picture of my family and my mother hung it on the wall. Infect. The common cold infects hundreds of millions of people each year. Intimidate. My dad intimidates my friends whenever they visit. Perspire. I usually perspire a lot when I am at practice. Prevent. The handcuffs prevented me from moving my hands. Reflect. Her face was reflected on the smooth glass. Struggle. The kids struggled with each other for the toy. Amaze. The news in the paper amazed Jack. Bleed. If you are not careful, you will cut your finger and bleed. Brew. Please brew a fresh pot of coffee. Disapprove. Alex disapproved of his son's behavior. Notify. The teacher notified us about a change to our assignment. Retire. My father is 65 years old. He is about to retire from work. Wipe. She wiped the dust from the windows. Announce. He announced to everyone his new idea for the company. Depict. The statue's face depicted the general's determination and courage. Distort. His lawyer distorted the facts so that he would be set free. Gather. Sam gathered some flowers for his mother. Grind. She wanted to grind the beans so she could brew some coffee. Imagine. Sally imagined herself winning lots of money. Infer. By the position of the sun in the sky, she inferred that it was noon. Linger. The smell of fresh cookies lingered in the bakery. Observe. Brian observed the sun rising over the mountains. Quit. I quit running because I got tired. Regained. The battery regained its power after being recharged. Seize. The man seized as much money as he could before anyone could see him. Weave. We saw a woman weave a blanket on our vacation to South America. Collaborate. When they collaborated, they managed to finish their chores early. Complicate. The bad weather complicated finishing the job quickly. Enhance. Amy's blue shirt really enhances the color of her eyes. Instruct. My teacher instructs us in several subjects. Irritate. She was irritated when her brother told her that he had lost her camera. Obtain. After I passed the test, I obtained my driver's license. Participate. The students participated in the school play. Prohibit. She prohibited the students from speaking until their work was done. Propose. Santa Claus proposed that I try to be a good boy all year. Quarrel. Billy quarreled with his wife about buying a new house. Accompany. My brothers accompanied me to the movie. Argue. We argued about where to go for dinner. Arrange. Please arrange the bowling pins in order so we can play. Exchange. I exchanged my foreign money for American dollars. Intend. I intend to finish college in 3 years. Mow. I mow our lawn every weekend. Shake. When people shake hands, it usually means they agree. Spread. I like to spread butter on my toast. Beat. I managed to beat everyone in the race. Coexist. Our pets coexist at our home with little or no problems. Comprehend. Henry could not comprehend the message. Deliver. The man delivered Chinese food to my house. Detect. The boy ran to the kitchen when he detected the smell of cookies. Diagnose. Several of the children were diagnosed with the flu. Dictate. He dictated his speech so his secretary could write it down. Impress. He was able to impress the girls with his new dance. Invest. I invested money in a new building that should bring me a profit. Search. I searched the newspaper for a new job. Inflate. I helped him inflate the balloons. Organize. Make a list to help you organize the things you need. Verify. Julian called the movie theater to verify that the movie started at 9. Wrestle. My dad loved to wrestle when he was in high school. Appall. The boy was appalled when he saw the accident. Deprive. Because the child was bad, she was deprived of her dessert after dinner. Deserve. The dog deserved a bone for behaving very well. Disappear. The top of the building is disappearing in the clouds. Dive. I will dive into the lake once we get there. Exclude. Carol was excluded from the contest because her friend was a judge. Fasten. Elizabeth fastened her seatbelt. Inform. I called and informed her about my idea. Irrigate. In dry climates, it is important to irrigate fields of crops. Obey. My little sister did not obey my mother. Now she is in trouble. Shout. My boss shouted at me because I was late for work. Spill. I spilled the coffee on the table. Tease. Jake teased Charlie because he was a new student. Tremble. Harry was not used to the cold, so he trembled most of the day. Expect. I expect the bus to be here very soon. Alleviate. She needed something to alleviate the pain in her back. Alter. I altered the color of my nails to match my hair. Dig. My dog digs in the yard so he can hide his bones. Focus. My mom always helps me to focus on my schoolwork. Overload. If you overload the truck, it might crash. Purchase. I recently purchased a new car. Aspire. George aspired to be a doctor from a young age. Conserve. The group worked to conserve the beauty of Europe's national parks. Erupt. The volcano erupted for the first time in 10 years. Imply. The man implied that he wanted the job, but he didn't say so. Inhale. The camper inhaled the cool and fresh mountain air and felt relaxed. Insist. I insist that you try some of these cookies. Own. My grandfather owns that house. Prepare. I prepared my speech to the class. Ruin. Our walk in the park was ruined by the sudden rain. Scream. The girl saw a spider and screamed. Whistle. As he was listening to music, Daryl whistled. Ail. My brother went to the doctor to see what was ailing him. Conquer. The soldiers were trying to conquer the world. Convince. She convinced me to buy the house. Criticize. He criticized his wife for spending too much money. Dissatisfy. He was dissatisfied with his meal. Fluctuate. Prices for gasoline have been fluctuating all month. Grab. I grabbed a pear from the tree. Recommend. My doctor recommended that I get some exercise. Reside. My brother and his family reside in a lovely house on the beach. Slam. She slammed the book shut after she finished reading it. Warn. The lifeguard warned people to stay away from the rough ocean. Disclose. John came home late, so he had to disclose his activities to his wife. Exit. The students exited through the front door. Foresee. The teacher didn't foresee any problems with her large class. Humiliate. I was humiliated when I tripped and fell down in front of the whole school. Judge. The boy was going to judge how his mother's turkey tasted. Radiate. The heat from the fireplace radiated throughout the room. Resign. After I officially resigned from work, I said goodbye to my boss. Ridicule. The other students ridicule Peter's foreign accent. Slap. Out of anger, Helen slapped Eunice on the face. Spin. The boy kept spinning until he fell down. Balance. We saw an elephant balance itself on a ball. Calculate. I calculated how much money I would need to buy the car. Delete. Several lines had been deleted from her speech. Embrace. When they saw each other again, the happy couple embraced. The pilot erred in his estimate of the time it would take to make the trip. Escape. The butterfly could not escape from the cage. Evacuate. During the flood, many families were evacuated to higher ground. Forbid. My father forbids watching TV while we're eating dinner. Interrupt. My mother interrupted me when I was trying to listen to music. Publish. The company publishes daily newspapers. Revere. The students revere their teacher who has taught them a lot. Serve. He served us our drinks quickly. Urge. He urged them to believe his story. Vi. The three boys vied for the prize in the chemistry contest. Tolerate. When you are in a hurry, it can be hard to tolerate traffic signals. Adopt. The girl was adopted by the couple when she was 3. Attack. The man with the sword attacked the other man first. Burn. I burned some wood in the campfire. Fulfill. The professor did not fulfill his promise not to miss a single class. Imitate. He imitated his favorite superhero by putting on a costume. Predict. She predicted that I would get married next year. Seclude. She was secluded on an island for over a year. Share. Jimmy shared his apple with me. Differentiate. It was hard to differentiate between the identical twins. Fix. My dad has many tools to help him fix broken things. Pose. The kids and their dog posed for a picture. Prolong. Sandy walked slowly across the beach, trying to prolong her lunch break. Remind. Nick's dad reminded him to do his homework. Roam. All day the cows roamed around the field eating grass. Save. I want to help save the world. Stroke. She stroked her cheek to see if there was something on it. Support. Everyone at work supports the new plan. Bring. Oscar will bring in all the boxes. Concentrate. I could not concentrate on my homework because the room was so loud. Curse. The witch cursed the village. Enable. Having the key enabled us to open the door. Encourage. My football coach will encourage us when we are losing. Hide. The other children will hide while you count to 100. Impede. The barrier impeded our ability to get closer to the building. Sound. The alarm clock sounded and woke us all up. Cope. He copes with work stress by exercising 3 or 4 times a week. Blink. I blinked many times so that my eyes could adjust to the bright light. Melt. The snowman that we made yesterday melted in the sun. Promise. He promised to return my key by tomorrow. Tilt. She tilted her glass and almost spilled some of the wine inside. Assess. She assessed the condition of the toy car before buying it. Construct. The men used wood and metal to construct a house. Deceive. He tried to deceive his friends as they were playing a game. Derive. Red's nickname was derived from the color of her hair. Increase. They've increased the price of gas by 15 cents. Integrate. Governments want immigrants to integrate with the population. Protect. Firemen protect us from fires. Restrict. The club restricted the amount of members. Stare. The young couple stared into each other's eyes. Assemble. The parents assembled to discuss ways to improve their children's education. Identical. James and John are identical twins. Cheat. They cheated on the test by sharing answers. Classify. The biologist classified the plant as a completely new species. Commute. I usually commute to work on the train. Compliment. The wool scarf complimented her lovely eyes. Crash. There was a loud noise when the car crashed into the tree. Hunt. Long ago, people hunted with bows and arrows. Hurt. She hurt her leg falling down the stairs. Invent. My grandfather has invented some interesting things. Retreat. The army retreated because they were losing the battle. Scan. You must scan each person closely. Stun. Tim fell off the swing and was too stunned to cry. Testify. The judge listened while the victim testified about the robbery. Transmit. The radio tower transmits a signal to all the radios in a 20-kilometer radius. Allot. The coach allotted each team 5 minutes to prepare a strategy. Connect. I connected the mouse to my laptop computer. Contend. Stacy had to contend with a learning disability throughout high school. Decay. The old wooden house was slowly decaying. Divide. We divided the pizza. Print. Make sure that you print your name clearly. Wade. The child waded in the water at the beach. Chat. Even though they were far apart, the couple chatted every day. Circulate. The fan helped to circulate cool air through the room. Comfort. I wanted to comfort my friend after I heard the bad news. Contemplate. Mark took a moment to contemplate the math problem before solving it. Disrupt. The loud crash disrupted the class lecture. Release. She released the bird from her hands. Remove. I removed the nail from the board. Restore. Victor restored the old car. Ought. I ought to take my library books back. Encounter. I encountered a sea turtle while I was swimming. Anticipate. Carrie anticipated the arrival of her baby. Dedicate. The nun dedicated herself to helping people in need. Elapse. A few seconds must elapse before you can take another picture. Examine. The doctor examined my eyes today. Facilitate. To facilitate the meeting, Melissa used a simple computer program. Reduce. When the store reduced its prices, people wanted to shop there. Stretch. She stretched her body before exercising. Stroll. My dog and I strolled through the park today. Beg. The man begged for some money. Chatter. The children chattered in the back of the classroom. Estimate. The boy estimated that he was 1 meter tall. Ignore. I ignored the message he was making and kept studying. Improve. He studied hard to improve his test scores from the previous year. Marry. Rose and Henry were married and they lived happily. Request. The little girl requested a special gift from Santa Claus. Sense. I could sense that he was watching me. Sever. He severed the string using scissors. Stall. If you give the car a push, it won't stall. Trust. I trust my friends. They don't tell my secrets to other people. Fit. The colorful eggs fit into the box. Accomplish. He accomplished his goal of running 10 miles. Clarify. Drew tried to clarify all the functions of Michelle's new computer. Condense. The cool air made tiny drops of water condense on the tops of the grass. Emphasize. She emphasized the key points by circling them in red ink. Hurry. I hurried home on my bike. Oh. I owed him $20, so I paid him back. Pertain. All of the lawyer's questions pertain to events around the night of the crime. Tow. The truck was towing a trailer behind it. Vomit. It is common for women to vomit when they are pregnant. Withdraw. After losing the battle, the enemy withdrew back to its own country. Anger. It angers me when people are rude. Automate. When the bank automated, it started installing ATM machines. Debate. The husband and wife debated over which TV to buy. Emulate. As a small boy, he always tried to emulate his big brother. Erect. The king erected 2 towers on the north and south sides of his castle. Oppress. Free speech had been oppressed in his country. Proclaim. The army general proclaimed that the war was won. Rhyme. Humpty Dumpty is an old rhyme that children learn in school. Underestimate. We lost the game because we underestimated the other team's skill. Amuse. The singer was very good. She amused the crowd. Disseminate. The organization disseminates information about the dangers of smoking. Hire. We hired a man to paint our house. Opt. My brother likes chocolate ice cream, but I always opt for vanilla. Perform. He will perform a song for the class. Solve. All the students could easily solve the math problem. Complain. The workers complained that they were being treated unfairly. Gain. I gained some weight over the summer. Admire. I admire my brother for his hard work. Bend. Lee bent over and picked up the paper on the ground. Bribe. The judge was bribed so that she would set the suspect free. Climb. The girls climbed to the top of the mountain. Gratify. Bonnie was gratified after receiving her gift from her parents. Grin. That joke makes me grin every time I hear it. Interact. The kids began to interact when the adults left the room. Misplace. I misplaced my wallet and I didn't find it until a week later. Rid. We rid our home of mice by using traps. Segregate. In gym class, the children were segregated into 2 groups, boys and girls. Violate. I was given a ticket because the policeman said I violated the speed limit. Depress. The bad news from work depressed the man. Hitchhike. She didn't have a car, so she hitchhiked several miles to her brother's home. Inspire. I was inspired to write a poem after watching the sunrise. Mimic. The hunter mimicked a duck's call and shot the 2 ducks that called back. Minimize. I check my homework twice to minimize errors I might have made. Overlap. The gift on top overlaps the other gift on the bottom. Protest. The people protested the decision of the president. Resist. He resisted the treatment at the hospital. Contaminate. The lake was contaminated when pollutants entered into the water. Contradict. Ken was always fighting with his little sister because she kept contradicting him. Declare. I declared my love for him. Evoke. The picture evoked memories of when grandmother was a girl. Expose. He took off his shirt, exposing his costume. Isolate. The teacher isolated the bad child from the class before talking with her. Ponder. She sat in the park and pondered her problem. Relieve. The medicine relieved the sick boy. Sail. I love to sail my boat on the lake. Sway. She swayed while she listened to the music. Undergo. The cancer patient undergoes treatments twice a week. Blend. My wife blended together all of the ingredients to make a delicious stew. Boast. We all became tired of listening to him boast about himself all day. Degrade. The teacher degraded Bob when she announced his poor performance to the class. Enact. The council enacted a law that would only allow buses to drive downtown. Graze. The cows grazed in the field. Greet. When my friend came over, I greeted him at the door. Grumble. He grumbled about having to work late on Friday. Hike. I always bring plenty of equipment with me when I hike. Outweigh. Finding a warm place to sleep outweigh the need to find something to eat. Realize. After I left my house, I realized that I left the light on. Retain. Even by the afternoon, the day had retained the morning's freshness. Waste. Turn off the water so you don't waste it. Spend. I like to spend my free time fishing. Strike. She struck the other girl in the face. Suggest. He suggested that we go to see his boss. Afford. I've been saving my money so I can afford to buy a new bike. Confuse. The sign confused the traveler because it pointed in two directions. Constrain. Jim cannot join us because he is constrained by previous plans. Contribute. We decided to contribute money to the new hospital. Depart. The plane departed for Italy at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Rely. The boy relied on his older brother to help him. Summon. We summoned the doctor as soon as we noticed she was sick. Terminate. The trip was terminated after the car broke down. Unite. If we unite, we can finish our project faster. Warp. The woman put the clock above the fireplace and the heat warped it. Wonder. The young mother wondered if she'd have a boy or a girl. Attract. The magnet attracted the metal. Charm. Gail charmed everyone with her humorous stories. Convey. The picture of a crying child conveys a feeling of sadness. Enlist. In their final year at school, the students were asked to enlist in the military. Guard. The police officer will guard us from any harm. Maximize. You should exercise regularly to maximize a healthy lifestyle. Maximize. Businesses try to maximize their profits. Bloom. Roses look so pretty when they bloom. Crumble. The old house's walls crumbled into a pile of rock and wood. Compliment. Her coworker complimented her for doing a good job. Execute. Some people are executed for serious crimes. Overwhelm. The amount of homework her teacher assigned has overwhelmed her. Provoke. The older boy provoked Paul by calling him mean names. Rush. Nancy rushed to finish her homework. Tend. My mom tends to buy me the perfect gift each Christmas. Undermine. The documents help to undermine the workers' trust in their boss's honesty. Control. To control the TV, just push the buttons. Emerge. The hand suddenly emerged from the grave. Implicate. The man was implicated in the theft at the store. Peel. We peeled the apple before eating it. Revise. When the editor discovered certain facts were wrong, he revised the book. Suspect. I suspect that those kids stole the money. Compel. Traffic signs compel drivers to drive safely. Flip. To turn on the lights, just flip this switch. Persist. Even though the lesson was difficult, he persisted until he understood. Propel. The strong wind propelled the leaf through the air and across the street. Scribble. I scribbled a rough diagram of our plan and gave it to him. Alert. The fire alarm alerted us that there was a problem. Arise. Difficulties arose with his computer because it was old. Congratulate. Bill and Angela congratulated each other on a job well done. Crawl. The baby crawled across the floor. Devote. She devotes 2 hours a day to playing the piano. Glimpse. She glimpsed outside the window as a plane was about to land. Import. Foods that have been imported are usually more expensive. Itch. The rough fabric in his shirt made the back of his neck itch. Oppose. I won't be a police officer because I oppose crime. Tumble. He lost his balance while snowboarding and tumbled to the ground. Weep. My sister told me the dramatic movie would make me weep. Belong. The blue suit belongs to Paul. Abuse. The mean man abused his dog when it barked too loudly. Betray. The man betrayed his country when he gave away national secrets. Bother. No one bothered to wash the dishes today. Devastate. The entire wall was devastated. Differ. I differ from my brother. He is short while I am tall. Echo. The child yelled over the canyon and the wall echoed the sound. Engrave. The couple engraved their name onto the old pine tree. Induce. Running without good shoes may induce leg pain. Trace. He traced over the graph with his finger. Fold. I folded the paper and put it in my pocket. Refresh. The baby was refreshed after taking a cool bath. Relate. A company's plan usually relates to how much profit it can make. Speculate. My sister looked at the sky and speculated that it would rain tomorrow. Thrive. He may be an old man, but he continues to thrive. Bind. The victims of the flood were bound by their need to help each other. Cure. My dentist cured me of my toothache. Justify. The government tried to justify its decision to bring the country into a war. Restate. Mrs. Jones restated the test question to the class. Resume. I put the newspaper down to eat breakfast, then I resumed reading. Supervise. Alan supervised the construction workers to ensure everyone's safety. Adjoin. She can listen to her brother's conversations because her room adjoins his. Affirm. Using a graph, Malcolm affirmed the success of the company. Fend. Dave spent all night fending off bugs instead of sleeping. Locate. I could not locate my keys in the house. Penetrate. The knife easily penetrated the surface of the orange. Cause. The cold weather caused her to get sick. Gasp. John always gasps when watching a scary movie. Mature. When they matured, they became as tall as their parents. Impair. Drinking coffee impairs my ability to go to sleep. Dump. She dumped the garbage into the trash can. Meditate. She liked to meditate for several hours of each day. Orbit. The moon orbits the Earth. Venture. Even though it was dangerous, they ventured up the mountain. Vibrate. The machine made his whole body vibrate as he broke up the ground. Ache. Mindy's head ached because she bumped it against the wall. Appoint. 2 students were appointed to help the scientists with their research. Assure. He assured the boss that the building would be done on time. Compose. Tanya composed a report using many sources of information. Diverge. The road diverged into 2 paths that led to our houses. Dye. Valerie got her hair dyed at the salon yesterday. Graduate. At the end of the spring, my friends and I will graduate from high school. Shatter. When the ball hit the window, the glass shattered. Stitch. My grandmother stitched the pieces together to make a big blanket. Traverse. The explorer traversed the desert alone on a camel. Utter. The lost boy was so scared that he could barely utter a single word. Carve. My father usually carves the turkey for Thanksgiving. Consume. Jack consumed a whole plate of spaghetti. Delay. I was delayed at the airport for over 2 hours. Legislate. Senators have to legislate fairly so most people will enjoy the benefits. Lower. The chart shows how his production has lowered over the year. Occur. When did the thunderstorm occur? Regret. I regret that I was mean to my sister. Bake. My sister is a good cook. She bakes delicious cakes. Contact. I contacted Sue about my party. Dread. I dread the idea that I will not get into college. Elevate. The man elevated the picture so he could see it better. Employ. The bookstore employed 2 full-time clerks. Gaze. We used a telescope to gaze at the stars for over an hour. Rectify. I quickly rectified the spelling mistakes that I had on my essay. Secure. I was able to secure a good grade on my test after weeks of studying. Shift. He shifted to the other side of the table to eat his breakfast. Substitute. When I ran out of juice, I had to substitute water to drink in the morning. Bark. The dog barked loudly and frighteningly. Rot. The old log began to rot in the forest. Entitle. His golden ticket entitled him to sit in the front row at the concert. Invoke. Before going into battle, the soldier invoked the name of his god for protection. Restrain. Mike restrained Alan from reaching the door. Roast. Mom roasted a turkey for the holiday dinner. Enroll. The students had to enroll in the class 1 semester in advance. Acquire. Tina acquired a strange package yesterday. Consult. I will consult my accountant to find a way to pay for my bills. Decipher. My teacher complained that she couldn't decipher my essay. Elude. The rabbit eluded the wolf by hiding in a bush. Furnish. Most homes are furnished with tables, chairs, and beds. Perceive. He was talking loudly, so he did not perceive that the music had stopped. Permit. I was sick, so my mother permitted me to stay home from school. Produce. This tree produces apples every year. Submerge. The whale submerged its huge body into the ocean. Cite. She cited 6 reasons that the school needed to build new classrooms. Correspond. The boy's story didn't correspond with his mother's version. Decrease. Hiring more police officers has decreased crime in the city. Duplicate. She duplicated her friend's movements like she was in front of a mirror. Exhaust. John exhausted himself by swimming all day. Hum. The man hummed his favorite song. Vanish. All the passengers vanished from the train station. Bang. The drummer banged on his drum as he marched in the parade. Crush. Selena's new car was crushed when something fell on top of it. Export. The United States exports many cereals and grains. Pinch. I pinched my nose so I couldn't smell the odor from the garbage. Drip. I heard water dripping from the faucet. Adorn. Small glass beads adorn the vase. Creep. The cat slowly crept down the tree. Envision. I can envision my mom's face when I give her this present. Saturate. The sponge was saturated with soapy water and dripped all over the floor. Establish. He wanted to establish a club for people to help the earth. Glide. When the wind is blowing, birds can glide easily through the sky. Occupy. Kevin and Alice occupied the chairs and had a long discussion. Shock. The man was shocked by the news. Stab. He stabbed the fork into the potato and passed it to his daughter. Compensate. Her boss compensated her for the extra work she did last week. Concede. The student conceded that he had cheated on the test. Excite. I heard about the school dance on Friday. This excited me. Identify. I used the file to identify his name. Polish. Mark spent all morning polishing his shoes for the wedding. Recover. I hope the city will recover soon after the flood. State. The president stated his opinion about the world's health concerns. Admonish. The teacher admonished Mark because he was chewing gum in class. Annoy. The flies buzzing around John's head annoyed him very much. Chase. I was chased by an angry native. Earn. He earns his living as a chef in a great restaurant. Ensure. Eating good food ensures that we stay healthy. Pardon. Pardon me, teacher, but could you repeat what you just said? Possess. My uncle possesses 3 sheep, a chicken, a cow and a dog. Pretend. The boy liked to pretend he was a king. Suspend. The oil company suspended production until it was sure the factory was safe. Yield. He had to yield his turn because he was in checkmate. Adapt. When he went to the new town, he had to adapt to all the weather changes. Aid. The doctor aided the boy after his accident. Enlarge. The classrooms were enlarged over the summer to make room for more students. Hesitate. He hesitated for a moment before he decided which choice to make. Mock. The girls mocked Nancy because she was a new student. Overcome. She overcame her shyness and spoke in front of the class. Prescribe. When I was sick, the doctor prescribed me flu medicine. Renovate. The old fire station was renovated into an apartment building. Comprise. Our school's football team is mostly comprised with seniors. Adjust. He adjusted the old guitar to make it sound better. Guarantee. I guarantee that the sun will come up in the morning. Replace. I replaced the tire on my car because it was flat. Expel. Since he would not follow the rules, the principal had to expel the student. Personalize. He personalized the woman's exercises to give her a better workout. Reproduce. The children tried to reproduce their house using toy blocks. Shine. The candles are shining the dark room. Ban. Smoking is banned in this building. Boost. Lowering prices boosts customers' interest in shopping. Enchant. The beautiful woman enchanted everybody in the room. Abandon. The old room had been abandoned years before. Admit. I had to admit that I stole his idea. Assume. I assume you are both familiar with this plan. Certify. The photograph on her passport certified that she was indeed Jolene Sawyer. Describe. They described their tree as colorful with gold ribbon and a star. Excavate. The team wishes to excavate the site in hopes of finding fossils. Manipulate. The drive manipulated the data to make it look like the cure was working. Specify. The poster didn't specify where the concert was taking place. Wrap. I wrapped his gift and put a bow on it. Honor. I honor my science teacher by working hard in class. Arrive. The bus always arrives at the corner of my street at 4 o'clock. Assert. He asserted that his mother's cooking was better than his best friend's. Cooperate. The students cooperated to clean up the classroom. Cost. These designer shoes cost more than the regular ones. Drag. The dog was dragging his owner down the street. Harmonize. The sweet and sour flavors of the dish harmonized well and tasted great. Intervene. The students argued until the teacher intervened. Monitor. The teacher monitors the students when they take tests. React. James reacted badly to the news. Scorn. The criminal was scorned by everyone in the community. Simulate. The French language teacher could simulate the accent of a French citizen. Supplement. He supplements his diet with fresh fruits. Cater. Bill was too sick to get out of bed, so his nurse catered to his needs. Escort. Her bodyguards escorted her to the movie theater. Obstruct. The car broke down on the road and obstructed traffic for hours. Soak. You need to soak these beans overnight before you cook them. Sting. The needle stung my arm and made me say, ouch. Subsist. Some people are forced to subsist on only a few dollars a month. Switch. Mom switched the TV station from the news to her favorite show. Withhold. They withheld all information until she paid her fine. Associate. Most people associate birthday parties with having fun. Cram. He crammed all of his shirts into the top drawer of the dresser. Determine. He tried to determine which one to eat first. Grant. The teacher granted us a break after studying hard all day. Include. Does this meal include a soft drink? Worship. Many people around the world worship in a church. Jog. He jogs every day so he can be healthier. Refine. The principal refined his method of controlling students over the years. Treat. The cats treated the mouse very nicely. Coincide. My birthday coincides with Christmas. Abide. If you want to play the game with us, you must be willing to abide by our rules. Accommodate. The meeting room can accommodate 9 people. Appear. She appeared to be sad. She was crying. Cease. After about an hour, the rain ceased and a rainbow appeared. Expire. The man's driver's license was going to expire in 2 days. Grasp. He grasped the bag of money tightly. Kneel. Daryl got down on one knee and asked Nina to marry him. Postpone. They postponed the meeting until Elena arrived. Proceed. My son and I proceeded to the beach so we could go fishing. Regulate. The bank regulates how much money people can borrow from it. Represent. My lawyer will represent me in court. Happen. I happened to meet some new friends at school today. Acquaint. Nancy acquainted herself with the new computer. Distrust. Don't lend money to someone if you distrust them. Panic. Everyone panicked when the house caught on fire. Publicize. The company publicized the job positions in the newspaper. Bet. How much will you bet that your horse will win? Deform. The computer program deformed the building's picture into an unreal sight. Fascinate. The kitten was fascinated by the ball of yarn. Forage. Many animals hide food in the fall since little can be foraged in winter. Recur. Burglaries seem to recur over and over in our neighborhood. Cheer. The crowd all cheered when the home team won. Envy. Sally envied the happy couple. Exaggerate. Jimmy wasn't exaggerating about the seriousness of his injury. Lie. Whenever Pinocchio lied to his father, his nose grew. Moan. The sick man moaned from his bed. Replicate. I would love to replicate my father's achievements in school. Ride. I will ride a roller coaster for the first time today. Snap. I took the stick and snapped it with my hands. Strain. Casey strained to lift the heavy box. Comment. Tom commented on the poor quality of the food. Flap. The tiny bird flapped its wings and ate from the flowers. Generate. The mayor promised to generate new jobs and programs to help the poor. Lease. When the family first leased the apartment, the rent was very low. Prod. The bully prodded me in the chest with his finger. Repay. She repaid her friend for all of his hard work with a small gift. Startle. The loud crash startled the sleeping woman. Expand. A balloon will expand as you blow air into it. Interpret. The woman interpreted what her coworker was trying to say. Intrigue. Her mysterious past intrigued her new friend. Situate. The road was situated between the forest and the lake. Span. His work began in 1999. It has spanned many years since then. Discriminate. They discriminated against her because she was different. Lag. The girl on rollerblades lagged behind the little girl on the bicycle. Compile. She compiled a list of people who she wanted to attend her birthday party. Compromise. We both compromised about the game we decided to play. Insert. The mailman inserted the letter into the mailbox. Rotate. An airplane's propellers rotate quickly to help it fly. Seek. If I have a problem, I seek my sister's advice. Unify. With their good deeds, the children try to unify the world. Face. My sister and I have to find a better way to face our differences. Conform. The new student had to conform to the school's dress code. Provide. Each student was provided with a test and 3 sharp pencils. Repair. I repaired the flat tire on my car. Ensue. After a few minutes of lightning, thunder ensued. Float. The boys' toy boat floated in the pool. Maintain. The balls maintain constant movement. Measure. The scientists carefully measured the amount of chemicals in the tubes. Pour. I poured some milk into my sister's cup. Submit. She submitted to her mother's wishes and did her homework. Acknowledge. The teacher acknowledged that the young student was hungry. Dismiss. He quickly dismissed my idea about a new project. Impose. He imposes on his wife every morning by expecting her to make breakfast. Insulate. People can conserve energy by insulating their houses. Magnify. Astronomers use telescopes to magnify faraway stars. Overwork. After working for 3 weeks with only 1 day of rest, Judy was overworked. Mount. His fear mounted as the monster crawled out from under his bed. Disprove. The scientists disproved the theory that the sun moved around the Earth. Modify. I modified my outfit by adding a belt to it. Roll. You must roll the ball into the pins when you bowl. Tramp. The baby tramped across the floor as he was learning to walk. Mend. Mother mended the rip in my pants with a piece of cloth. Reconcile. After arguing, the two friends were reconciled with each other. Thrust. The boxer thrust his fist into the punching bag. Confront. The couple has to confront each other about their problems. Persecute. Dan felt persecuted because he was smaller than the other boys at school. Update. We need to update the programs on our computers. Extract. The dentist extracted the woman's damaged tooth and put in a fake one. Paraphrase. The students were asked to paraphrase the story they just heard. Quiver. The flame on the candle quivered whenever someone opened or closed a door. Scratch. I used a stick to scratch my back. Sip. Lisa relaxed on the beach, sipping fruit juice through a straw. Affect. The students' poor attitude affected the other students in the class. Consist. Today's choices for lunch consisted of pizza, hamburgers, and hot dogs. Designate. The famous lighthouse was designated a historical monument. Finance. The government financed the scientists' experiments with new weapons. Grip. I was scared, so I gripped my older sister's hand. Shave. My father shaves his face every day because he doesn't want a beard. Skip. He skipped work to get more sleep. Trim. I had my hair trimmed this afternoon. Assign. I assign the worker an important task. Breathe. We need strong, healthy lungs to help us breathe well. Frown. Melissa frowned when she found out that the party had been cancelled. Heed. You should heed the advice on the sign and not drive so fast. Manage. I had to manage the meeting myself. Snatch. He was so hungry that he snatched an apple from a tree. Sparkle. The stars sparkled in the winter night sky. Succeed. He will continue to work on the robot until he succeeds. Tear. It is easy to tear paper. Counteract. Medicine is supposed to counteract illnesses. Illustrate. The executive illustrated the decreasing profits of the company. Multiply. In the past year, the number of people at work multiplied by 10%. Nod. I nodded my head as I listened to the song. Sustain. Wind power is a clean way to sustain a city with energy. Swear. I will put my hand on the Bible and swear to do my best for the country. Convict. He was convicted of the crime and sent to jail. Counsel. The teacher counseled the girl about her troubles. Express. The nurse expressed her sympathy for the sick patient. Pause. Since she was so hungry, she paused to make a snack. Refute. The bank manager has refuted the claims that he lied to his customers. Defend. The soldiers defended the town from the invaders. Deposit. I deposited the money into my bank account. Deter. Icy roads deter people from driving their cars. Found. The Pilgrims founded one of the first colonies in the United States. Improvise. There was no meat for the pizza, so we improvised with what was in the fridge. Navigate. She navigated the ship across the ocean. Vow. Before they are allowed to work, all senators must vow to never accept bribes. Extinguish. Michael extinguished a small fire with the hose. Gamble. Many people like to go to casinos to gamble. Rig. The bad politician rigged the election so that he would win. Sink. The boat had a hole in it and it sank into the ocean. Beware. You should beware of driving fast on wet roads. Flatter. He was just flattering me when he said that my new dress looked gorgeous. Freeze. If you don't wear your coat in winter, you will freeze. Surround. We surrounded the suspect on all four sides. Waver. I wavered between eating the apple or the cake for a snack. Abolish. President Lincoln abolished slavery in the U.S. Brainstorm. The students met after school to brainstorm ideas for their assignment. Incorporate. I decided to incorporate a new ingredient into my cake recipe. Rip. She ripped the paper in half by accident. Shoot. The hunter raised his gun to shoot at the target. Commission. The artist was commissioned to create a picture. Marvel. We marveled at her excellent piano playing. Advocate. The group advocated increased spending on education and schools. Allocate. The government allocated $100 million to aid the disaster relief effort. Last. The football match lasted for nearly 2 hours. Portray. Her picture portrayed the house she grew up in when she was little. Appeal. Sleeping all day appeals to me, but I have to go to school. Condemn. The judge condemned the criminal to 5 years in prison. Desire. My sister desires a big house and lots of money. Digest. Allow some time for food to be digested before going swimming. Evolve. Many people think that humans evolved from animals. Reveal. I will reveal where I hid the candy bar. Scramble. The hikers scrambled down the side of the hill. Sift. The baker sifted the flour into a large bowl. Smash. Jacob smashed the window with a rock. Boom. The firecrackers made a loud boom when they exploded. Censor. To protect innocent people, the location of the bomb was censored. Endure. She had to endure her husband shouting all day long. Blaze. The small fire soon blazed into a large dangerous one. Burst. The bomb bursted over the city. Flush. After the long race, the runner's face was flushed. Lean. The woman leaned against the counter because she was tired. Recall. She was trying to recall what she had told her friend. Utilize. They utilized a pair of scissors to cut the ribbon. Cultivate. A research company is cultivating new kinds of rice to aid poor countries. Donate. We donate money to Christmas charities every year. Raise. We had to work together to raise the last piece. Revolve. My life revolves around sports. Signify. A red octagon is used to signify to stop. Stray. He found himself lost because he had strayed from the tour group. Supply. The water heater supplied the house with warm water. Dip. Laurel dipped her strawberry into the chocolate. Manufacture. My father's company manufactures steel building materials. Stagger. He staggered around after having too much to drink. Bond. The women bonded after several hours of conversation. Adhere. If the new employees wish to succeed, they must adhere to the boss's rules. Foster. She helped foster a sense of calm in the little boy. Pledge. Her mother pledged that she would find her daughter's lost kitten. Sprinkle. He sprinkled the pasta with salt and black pepper. Leak. The pipe leaks from many places. Leap. He had to leap over the gap to reach the other side of the hill. Attain. In 2 more years, I will attain my high school diploma. Drift. The large chunk of ice drifted in the water. Halt. The criminal halted when he saw the police coming. Unsettle. The dark clouds in the sky unsettled Beth. Dash. Helen dashed up the stairs so she wouldn't be late for her appointment. Sue. I sued the company after I slipped on a banana peel in their hallway. Exceed. Since I exceeded my limit, I decided to get rid of my credit cards. Marshal. The students were marshaled outside and put into groups. Probe. The bank probed into his financial history to see if he qualified for a loan. Prevail. Unfortunately, injustice still prevails in the country's court system. Inhabit. No one inhabits the ancient city. Advance. He advanced up the ladder slowly. Commit. Seth wanted to go home, but he had committed to finishing the job. Hop. The kangaroo quickly hopped away from danger. Initiate. You have to turn the switch on to initiate the computer system. Invade. The enemy forces try to invade our country through the air. Conceive. The child could not conceive the actual size of the earth. Negotiate. Mario and Joe took a long time negotiating the contract between the companies. Originate. The idea of democracy originated in ancient Greece. Pierce. The arrow pierced the target in the very center. Promote. After 2 years in the company, she was promoted to a manager. Surrender. The thief surrendered the money to the police when he was caught. Enforce. Police enforce traffic laws to keep everyone safe. Reverse. They reverse their direction after seeing the sign. Socialize. I like to socialize with my classmates after school. Define. People define success in many different ways. Hinder. All the traffic hindered me from getting to work on time. Spare. I wanted to help him, but I couldn't spare a tire. Peck. The birds pecked at the seeds on the ground. Toss. He tossed a coin into the air. Chronicle. The daily newspaper chronicles local and world events. Shield. She shielded her eyes from the sun with sunglasses. Investigate. The detective went to investigate the crime. Match. The two shoes matched. They looked the same. Chew. I always chew my food carefully before swallowing it. Fast. In her religion, they fast for 5 days and then have a big feast. Torment. She tormented her little brother by taking his favorite toy. Amend. The countries were in agreement that the treaty needed to be amended. Glow. The small flame glowed softly. Heal. After my broken arm heals, I can play baseball again. Render. His report was rendered unimportant by the release of new information. Scatter. I accidentally scattered all of my pills. Apply. She always apples makeup to her face before going outside. Brag. He had strong muscles and bragged about it to the entire class. Glance. She glanced behind her to see if he was looking at her. Invert. He inverted the bicycle to make repairs on the wheels. Kill. I killed the fly with a fly swatter. Manifest. The holiday season manifested joy in the children. Pray. When people go to church, they pray for their families and friends. Await. The players awaited the judge's decision. Mash. We mashed the hard potatoes and served them for dinner. Cross. We used his boat to cross to the other side of the lake. Hone. Lisa honed her chess skills by hours and hours of practice. Neglect. William neglected his room, so it is a complete mess. Rob. A thief has robbed me of my passport. Swing. He can swing a golf club very powerfully. Cast. The fisherman cast his line into the water. Decline. She declined his offer to pay for her dinner. Embed. The logger embedded the axe into the wood after chopping several logs. Exploit. The company exploits their workers and makes them stay 12 hours a day. Merge. The storm clouds merged into one large menacing cloud that filled the sky. Harass. The children harassed their mother because they wanted her attention. Upgrade. He upgraded to a real fancy car. Overlook. Brenda overlooked the last step and had a bad fall. Plunge. The water in the pool was very cold, but the boy plunged in anyway. Volunteer. Many people volunteer to help the adults learn to read. Found. The pastor founded his church in the countryside. Soar. As the sun rose, 2 eagles soared through the sky. Obsess. After watching the Star Wars movies, I got obsessed about becoming a Jedi. Prosecute. They were prosecuted for fishing in the river without a permit. Revive. She revived the feeling of warmth in her leg by rubbing it softly. Chop. Mom chopped some vegetables to put into the stew. Inquire. Dad called to inquire about the price of tickets for the show. Insult. The girls insulted each other all afternoon. Fade. The piece of cloth I found was old and faded. Curve. The road curves to the left and to the right. Enter. 2 guards greeted me as I entered the front door. Edit. She asked her brother to edit her paper before she submitted it to her teacher. Coordinate. Each skating team had to coordinate their movements for the show. Scrape. I accidentally scraped the paint off the side of the car. Defeat. The champion defeated the challenger in the boxing match. Embarrass. He was embarrassed when he couldn't remember her name. Pinpoint. The navigation system in my car is able to pinpoint my exact location. Swell. My sister's stomach began to swell after she got pregnant. Splash. Some green paint splashed upon the floor. Console. When my dog ran away, my dad consoled me. Haunt. His thoughts about a scary dream haunted him for weeks. Discourage. Mr. Perry discouraged the students from quitting school. Distribute. The teacher distributed crayons and markers to his students. Extend. The boy extended his hand to catch the ball. Devise. The thieves devised a plan to steal the diamonds. Convert. The man converted his messy field into a garden of flowers. Curb. She curbed her anger by listening to a relaxing song. Combine. Mina combined peanut butter and jelly to make a sandwich. Nurture. Robert nurtured his plants, and that is why they grow so well. Influence. My friend influenced my decision to attend Terrence University. Settle. It took 3 of our best executives all day to settle the problem. Collapse. The tree collapsed right in front of our house. Oversee. His job was to oversee the progress of the construction project. Loom. The ominous clouds loomed over the school. Resort. I hope they don't resort to violence to end the argument. Choke. There was a lot of smoke in the air and it made me choke. Conclude. I saw crumbs on my dog's face, so I concluded that he ate my cookie. Kidnap. She was terrified to find out her son was kidnapped. Retrieve. She retrieved her mail from the mailbox. Zip. She zipped her backpack closed after putting her books inside it. Absorb. He used a sponge to absorb the water on the floor. Confine. The elephant is confined to a cage in the zoo. Display. The museum displayed many wonderful paintings. Implement. The school decided to implement a new teaching strategy. Set. Please set the dice down on the table. Defy. The students got into trouble for defying their teacher's rules. Precipitate. The violent attack precipitated an all-out war. Alternate. The best exercise alternates muscle and heart strengthening. Audit. The government usually audits companies that report lower than usual incomes. Recite. Katie recited the Pledge of Allegiance in class. Cherish. I cherish this trophy I won. Conceal. You should conceal your money so no one can take it from you. Faint. Carol fainted because she hadn't eaten in over a day. Pursue. The mother pursued her young child down the hill. Sort. He sorted his clothes by colors and sizes. Disturb. The loud noise disturbed me while I was working. Launch. The boat launched from the dock and floated down the river. Pat. I patted some lotion onto my face. Strive. People who strive to succeed often do. Engage. Dad was engaged in sawing a piece of wood in half. Land. The parachutist landed safely on the ground. Attach. I attached the socks to the clothesline to dry. Operate. I'm sorry, but the trains are not operating today. Plot. The group was plotting to ruin the company's financial reports. Interfere. My little sister always interferes when I'm trying to study. Injure. The car crash injured 2 people. Scare. I was scared by the sight of the monster. Peer. She peered at people through the window. Steer. He steered the go-kart around the track. Confer. I will have to confer with my wife before I can purchase a new car. Tackle. Such social problems need to be tackled right away. Craft. She crafted the bookcase out of solid panwood and then painted it. Excel. Jenny excels at playing the piano. Vary. The heights of the people in my class vary by a large amount. Transfer. The family transferred the groceries from the shopping cart to the car. Rupture. Sarah put too much water into the balloon and it ruptured. Spur. The coach's speech spurred her team into playing the best game of their lives. Defer. The girl was very sleepy, so she chose to defer her bath until morning. Tuck. He looked sloppy without his shirt being tucked into his pants. Assist. Andrew assisted me with my homework. Presume. Since he raised his hand, the teacher presumed he knew the answer. Subject. The officers subjected everyone to a careful search before they left the plane. Twist. She twisted the spaghetti around her fork. Subscribe. She subscribed to the view that musical education should be kept in schools. Tap. He tapped the keys of the keyboard to write a short word. Suppress. She suppressed her urge to scream because she didn't want to be noticed. Refrain. The doctor asked Mary to refrain from eating fast food as part of her diet. Dispose. He disposed of the can by throwing it into the recycle bin. Nick. While cutting the carrots, the cook nicked his finger with the edge of his knife. Rub. Mom's feet were sore, so she rubbed them. Trap. We trap butterflies in a net. Harness. The sails harness the wind in order to move. Dare. He dared to jump out of the airplane and skydive. Preach. Aaron often preached about living an honest life. Explode. My new radio exploded when I plugged it in. Frustrate. The machine frustrated me because I could not fix it. Lure. The store lures people in with big signs that say sale. Poke. I poked my finger on a thumbtack. Offend. They were both offended by what they had said to each other. Disagree. The lawyer disagreed about the best way to settle the case. Qualify. He caliphed to go to the final match by beating the opponent. Resolve. She resolved the problem with her children by giving them both a toy. Wreck. The teenagers wrecked the house for no reason at all. Stir. Mom stirred the batter until it was smooth. Wander. The boys like to wander in the woods and look at birds. Oblige. If I wanted to have playtime, I was obliged to clean my room once a week. Zoom. The car zoomed along the road. March. The soldiers marched in straight rows. Enclose. The cows in the field were enclosed by a fence. Discharge. I was discharged from the hospital after 3 days. Equip. Steve was equipped with the tools needed to do the job. Shrink. If you stick to a healthy diet, your stomach will shrink. Gripe. Lawrence always gripes when he has to do chores. Forge.